So, we have learned one thing tonight, and that is there is a special hell for child molesters and people who talk in the movie theaters.
We just got back from seeing, well, we didn't get back, we're currently in a parking lot, but we just saw The Fault in Our Stars.
And yeah, there was just this group of teenagers who just would not shut up. Just the most incessant things, like, I should tweet that. Or, I'm not crying. Are you crying? I think he's crying. I see a tear. Oh my god, I'm not crying. Watch the damn movie. And I turned around and I gave them a death glare. I was just like, listen, buddy, just shut your mouth. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I turned around and I'm like, shh. Like, just shh. And then about halfway through the movie, I turned to her and I'm like, I am going to murder the people behind us. And then she turns around and says,
I, like, give them a, can you please be quiet kind of death glare thing, and they were quiet for a while, and then they started talking. So it wasn't the best movie-going experience, not only because we had people right behind us, but we were in front row, like you could touch the screen, and so everyone was warped. So like the bodies were really big and the heads were really small. It was...
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the movie and see if Augustus Waters' feet are actually as big as I remember, because it looked like he had massive shoes on.
So yeah, The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. It was a good teen adaptation.
Yeah. I mean, there have been some pretty sucky teen adaptations, which we'll get to later on in the year, probably. But for capturing the essence of the book, my main fear with this book was that it's very wordy and very pretentious. Like, pretentious sounding. Like, Augustus starts out as a very pretentious character, and the whole, he thinks he's a hero, the hero's journey, and he kind of, like, withers away and dies. So I was worried how that kind of language was going to translate on screen, if it was just going to feel like actors were speaking to me, or if it was going to feel natural. And I think they did a really good job making the dialogue feel very natural.
Yeah. They definitely captured, like, John Green's sense of humor, too.
Yeah.
Just like, absurd situations that probably would actually happen in real life just because they're so freaking absurd. Like, Augustus invites her over and Isaac has just broken up with his girlfriend. And this actually happens in the book, too. And it was like, they're trying to have this kind of, like, romantic, like, kind of, like, flirty conversation about the book they're reading, and Isaac is just, like, raging in the background as he's, like, destroying trophies, and he, like, interrupts him, and he's like, Augustus, this one too? And Augustus is like, yeah, and then he just keeps talking as, like, Isaac's just, like, in the background, and it's just, like, that happens in the book, and it just, seeing it on screen was just...
Isaac was a treasure. Just like, he was definitely in the background a lot doing things. Like, there was the trophy destroying thing, and then there was the egging the house, because, so they're like having another cute romantic moment, and all he's like, yeah, I got it, yeah, in the background. This feels so good. And you're just like, oh, you're kind of wonderful. I loved the like, Augustus and Hazel. I mean, they were like really, really cute and just strong and great performances.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned going into this movie since they played brother and sister in the Diversion movie, and I'm just like, am I going to be able to get over this? But it worked.
They pulled it off.
They pulled it off.
They were like an adorable couple.
Yes, it hurt a little bit.
This one didn't cry.
No, I didn't cry. I'm kind of surprised because I cry at everything.
Not everything, just stupid things. I'm very much the same way, except probably a little less selective.
Oh man, like, things set me off. But I didn't cry. And I came to the theater with a box of Kleenex because I thought I was going to be openly weeping. And I thought that I would be weeping for days. The person beside me in the theater was openly weeping, and
Not
so
me.
Not her. At one point, the girl beside me, and I just kind of look at her, and I just kind of wave this at her, and she just kind of looks at it and just pulls up a chair.
I cried at a few moments.
I didn't notice you cried.
Yeah, see, I cry very quietly. I don't like crying
I'm
in front
like
of people.
I am like a Roman sweeper, like the person who you hire to go to the funeral. When I cry, it is a production. It is just tears and flailing and hair pulling. It's worth watching. So.
I've just mastered like the tears coming out of the corner of my eyes, so that it's like I can just be like, oh, there's something on my face. Just yeah. So
when did you cry?
I cried. Let's see. I cried at the eulogy, I think. I had a few, like one tear when he was telling her about his diagnosis. I kind of had this really weird realization because when after he dies, she just like breaks down crying, and you can just hear like the anguish in her voice, and I'm like kind of crying too. But then I'm like, I've never actually cried like that, like had something like big like that to cry over and just like openly bawl. And I was like, okay, doing pretty good then. But yeah, so like just didn't cry at the end when she like has her
moment.
Yeah,
I didn't cry.
I'm gonna tell you.
I know why I thought that, because we have the subway right over there.
Yeah.
Woo!
We were in a parking lot.
We were
driving by and we're like, we need somewhere to film. We could film in a house, but I don't know why we just didn't do that. So we stopped in this parking lot by our old high school, and
so yeah, we're channeling.
The camera is actually resting on my motorcycle. So we travel in style, and apparently, yeah.
We have to talk about Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. When I was watching the information about this movie, when they were starting to talk about casting, and I looked on IMDb and it said rumored Willem Dafoe as the author, I was just like, yes, give this to me.
And he did.
And he was wonderful.
He was like just the right amount of asshole. Like the only other person I think they could have got to do such a good job would have been like Hugh Laurie doing like House.
But like, just you love him and you hate him.
He says smart things. He does.
But he's a dick.
Yeah.
And he's like crazy. Like he's all like,
and he's
pajama wearing.
And constantly drinking.
I just like the best part is they're at Augustus's funeral. And they're like, oh no, like, everybody goes to pray, and he like has a flask, and he's like, you gotta fake pray now. And I'm just like, you are glorious. This movie was really well done. I was hesitant, but it worked out. Everything worked out in the end.
It did. I was impressed, and it goes on my list of very, very good teen adaptations.
It didn't feel like a book being turned into a movie.
They didn't talk about you either.
Yeah, that was kind of nice too.
I feel like when they do adaptations, they're like, we need to explain everything just so you know, and we can just move on with things.
I'm looking at you, City of Bones.
And that tortures me. So yeah, they didn't do that, and yeah, they captured the essence.
Yeah, they captured the essence, and that's what makes a good adaptation.
So yes, I think that's probably the end of our review. I'm sure the zombies are like
we want to get out of here. This is probably the sketchiest thing we have ever done with my beautiful, beautiful camera.
So we will see you guys later, and we want to hear what you guys thought of this movie and your favorite moments, and just gush about it to us because we'd love to hear about it.
Who wanted to like pinch Augustus Waters' cheeks? Because I wanted to pinch Augustus Waters' cheeks.